What's going on YouTube? Kamikazevondoom here with another Division 2 video, and I'm just checking in on you. What's going on? How are ya? Now today is May the 13th, and this is going to be your weekly vendor reset and must-buys. So sit back, relax, grab that popcorn, don't forget to hit that like, subscribe if you haven't already, and let me know what you think in the comment section below. But we will start off here in Washington, D.C., and we will finish up in New York City. Our first vendor is going to be the Base of Ops vendor. Here we go.
Looking to deal?
And starting off at the top, we have the Cold Relations. This is the named PP19 with Perfect Strained, and this one with Stability. Now you can easily change that stability off for damage to targets at a cover, and you're good to go. Remember that PP19 shoots at a low RPM at 700, so that you can take full advantage of this Perfect Strained talent. Moving on, we have a Vector 45 with health damage and measured, a G36 with max crit chance and nearsighted, and finally for the weapons, a 93R with health damage and killer. Looking at the gear items, we have a Uzina backpack with, hey, this is actually a really good one. Yo, pick this one up. Max out the armor. Hazard and armor regeneration with Adrenaline Rush. So you get bonus armor, you get armor regeneration, and you get hazard, and you get total armor from the brand set bonus. This is a good pickup. After that, we have a Empress chest piece with headshot and weapon handling with efficient. Looking at the mods, we have crit hit damage 10.3, drone deflect duration 6.4, turret burn damage 4.2, and sticky bomb blast radius of 4.7. Now, must buys from the Base of Ops. Check out that Uzina backpack. It's a good one. But that's really about it. Now, for the other two Base of Ops vendors, just remember that you can catch these two vendors in the Haven settlement over there in New York City, being the Countdown and Clan vendors. But here's your Countdown vendor. Starting with the Mechanical Animal, this is the named assault rifle with Future Perfection, and this one with pretty decent attributes. What I would do is just change that magazine size off for, say, damage to targets at a cover, and you're good to go. This one is actually really good. Not bad. I might pick one up. After that, we have a Cherished. This is the named Habsburg Guard chest with Perfect Trauma, and this one with max repair skills and skill haste. And finally, we have a Swap Chain, a named MP7 with damage to armor and perfect unwavering. I wouldn't really say these are must-buys, but the Mechanical Animal is a good pickup. And the Swap Chain isn't bad with that damage to armor. Myself personally, I don't like either one of those weapons, but those are good pickups. Alright, so moving on to the Clan vendor, and before I do, just a reminder, and well, big shout out to the DoD, Disciples of Doom. We are on all platforms, so if you are interested in joining the clan, just make sure to join my Discord server, and there are different tabs to join the clans, because we have a clan for PC, a clan for Xbox, and a clan for PlayStation, because there is no crossplay, so I am on all platforms running those clans. So just go to my Discord server, put your name in there. Whenever I have spots opened up, I'll send out a mass message. First come, first serve. Bada bing, bada boom. All right? Shout out to the DoD. And speaking of which, here is our clan vendor. Starting off with the Carnage, this is the named Negev with Perfect Sadist, and this one with max crit chance, but you could easily just change that to max damage to armor, and you'd be good to go. This is a great LMG. A lot of people swear by it. They use it with Ongoing Directive. They use it with the Ridgeway's Pride. They use it with Perfectly Wicked. Blah, blah, blah. It is a good weapon to use. Maybe I'll showcase it here in the future. For me personally, they changed it way too much from the inception of this weapon. Because when the weapon first came out, it was shooting more towards like a 900 RPM, and it had a buttload of damage, and they lowered the damage and then significantly, lowered that RPM. And we're here at, 750 RPM and just under 100K. It's okay. I personally would rather go for like the Iron Lung, the Pestilence, something like that. But the Carnage is another good one. Following that, we have the gear items, starting with the Refactor pair of knee pads. This one with crit damage. We have Striker's mask with crit damage. This is actually a really good mask. Pick this one up, and you could change the weapon damage to armor. Yeah, do that because you want to keep the crit damage on here for all weapon types, including ARs, SMGs, what have you. Now I know a lot of people want to go max crit the whole way, and if you need it, you can. But for something like the St. Elmo's engine or what have you, it already comes with pretty high crit chance, so you can get away with having this one on crit damage and then change that weapon damage core to an armor. That way you could be a little tankier if you need, and then if not, just change it back to a red core and go all damage. Following that, we have a hardwired chest piece with skill damage, not bad. Going to the high-end items, M16A2 with damage targets at a cover and Optimus. That's a good setup, but a horrible weapon. A military G36 with sadist and crit hit damage. Not bad, just change the bottom attribute to damage to targets at a cover. After that, we have a PDR with crit chance and on empty, a PX4 with magazine size and close and personal. Following that, a 511 mask with armor regeneration and hazard. Hanayu backpack with explosive resistance, skill damage, and tech support. All right, this one's not bad. So this Hanayu backpack, now the explosive resistance would automatically make everyone be like, ew. But it does have tech support on here. Remember, tech support skill kills increase your skill damage. It comes with skill damage, and the 2-piece bonus gives you skill damage. The 1-piece bonus gives you skill haste, so if you change the explosive resistance off for, say, skill haste, you could have skill haste skill damage with tech support. This could be a really good backpack. Just saying. Just saying. Now, the Bellstone Armory pair of knee pads, also, it's a rainbow, so it has a blue, a yellow, and a red, so a lot of people would be like, gross. But what I would do with this one is change the skill damage to armor regeneration and go armor regen, crit damage. You're good to go. Looking at the mods, we have crit chance, 4.7. Firefly +1 max target. Blind def resistance 8.9. And Firefly blind effect duration 6.4. Now, must-buys from the clan vendor and things to look for. The Carnage, the Strikers, the Hanayu, and the Bellstone Armory. All right. Moving on, taking our talents to the west, and then we'll double back east. Our first stop is going to be the campus settlement. Now, if you haven't already, hit that thumbs up. Support the channel. We do daily Division content, so don't forget to ring that notification bell. That way you don't miss a single Division upload. And a reminder, we are streaming also on Twitch. Just started doing that this year, and it's been a blasty blast. So follow me over there at Kamikazevondoom on Twitch, and you can catch our shenanigans in live streams. But all right, here we go. Campus.
I might have what you're looking for.
I doubt it. Let's see. Scalpel. Starting with the Scalpel, this is the named marksman rifle with future perfection. This one, swap speed. No thank you. Following that, we have a paratrooper SVD with damage to targets at a cover and determined. Gross. That's a good combination, but the wrong marksman rifle, because typically you would want determined on a marksman rifle where you could get a headshot kill and keep getting headshot kills. But the paratrooper SVD, it hits so low. I mean, it does the same damage of like a rifle and not like a one-shot rifle. So you're not able to do one-shot headshots with the SVD like you would typically with your normal marksman rifle. So this combination is good, just wrong weapon. And finally, for the weapons, we have a Stoner LAMG with swap speed and close and personal. Going to the high-end items, we have a Habsburg Guard mask with crit chance and hazard, and an Overlord holster with crit chance and repair skills. Now that Habsburg Guard mask isn't bad. Change the hazard to headshot, and you could go crit chance headshot. Not bad at all. The only thing I don't like about Habsburg is that it comes with that armor core. So, I don't know. I'm on the fence about it. Looking at the mods, we have skill duration 8.5, chem launcher radius 6.0, hive damage 4.1, pulse cone size 6.3, and trap shock radius of 5.8. Must buys, things to look for from the campus. Nothing really.
Friendly
Womp,
supply
womp,
contract
womp,
in
womp,
proximity.
womp. All right, moving on to the Dark Zone, starting with Dark Zone West. West, let's go. Oh, and before we go to the Dark Zone, just a reminder, all of these Dark Zone vendors take DZ resources as currency. So just above your keys, you will see your Dark Zone resources. And for example here, I'm at 90 out of 999. So if I need any more Dark Zone resources, I have to go into the Dark Zone and either open up the little blue boxes, or I have to get contaminated items, deconstruct them into Dark Zone resources, and then extract them. So those are the only two ways of getting Dark Zone resources. And with that being said, here is your first Dark Zone vendor, Dark Zone West.
Welcome, agent.
Starting with the Baker's Dozen, this is the named classic M1A with headshot and perfect lucky shot. Following that, we have a ACS 12 with max optimal range and sledgehammer, and a UIC 15 mod 2 with health damage and rifleman. Looking at the gear items, we have Umbra gloves with crit damage, Ace's knee pads with weapon handling, Providence gloves with headshot and armor regeneration, and Electrique knee pads with repair skills and headshot. Looking at the mods, we have Ensnare Resistance 8.2, Seeker Mind Skill Haste 4.9, Shield Holstered Regeneration 4.1, Firefly Skill Haste 5.8, and Decoy Health of 6.0. Now, must buys, things to look for from Dark Zone West. Nothing really negative. All right. Let's take our talents down south to the deep south, the DZ South. Let's go. Oh boy, we going down south. Ew! I'm sorry, my bad. I'm sorry. That's the best I got, man. I don't know. Candy cane. I don't know, something like that. Here we go. Dark Zone South.
Nice to see you.
Ooh, the Rail Splitter. This was a meta weapon in year 1, and then they completely butchered it in year 2. And here we are, about to be in year 7, and this weapon is still not that great. However, it is right here, the Rail Splitter. This is a PvP exclusive item. However, you can get it in a named item cache. But this is the named C-Tar called the Rail Splitter, and it has perfectly accurate as a talent. For the attributes, it does have swap speed, but you could easily just change that to damage to targets out of cover, and you'd be good to go. Following that, we have a PP19 with optimal range and Thunderstrike, a Carbine 7 with Sledgehammer and armor damage, and a Card 45 with Rate of Fire and Ignited. Going to the gear items, we have a Cavalier backpack with armor regeneration, Heartbreaker chest piece with Hazard, that's nice, Badger Tough backpack with max health, crit chance, and overclock, and finally Overlord chest piece with crit damage, skill haste, and focus. Going to the mods, we have crit chance 4.4, drone damage 4.2, turret duration 5.7, and sticky bomb skill haste of 4.3. And must buys, things to look for from DZ South. We do have the Rail Splitter. This is a rare weapon. However, perfectly accurate is really not the best talent in the game. But if you don't have it and you have that fear of missing out, pick it up, DZ South. That Heartbreaker chest piece is good, but DZ resources are hard to come by, and you could easily just get that Heartbreaker from, Countdown. All right, now before we go to DZ East, I'm making a pit stop over here to the castle settlement. That way we can pet the dog. Oh, or just have the dog bark at me. All right, damn, what'd I do to you, man? All right, here we go, castle settlement, and then we'll finish our Dark Zone vendors. So here we go. Starting with the Relic. This is the named marksman rifle with perfect determined, and this one with swap speed. Following that, we have a surplus SVD with health damage and lucky shot, a military MK46 with max health damage perpetuation, 511 mask with headshot and hazard, and finally a Legatus holster with status and crit damage. Going to the mods, we have skill haste 10.3, Chem launcher damage 4.1, hive damage 4.3, pulse effect duration 8.7, and finally trap duration of 5.9. Now, must buys, things to look for from the campus. Not the campus, the castle. And I would say no. Nothing at the castle. I mean, there was nothing at the campus either. Ah, that sucks. All right, let's finish up the Dark Zone vendors with Dark Zone East. Now, Dark Zone East, I do not go to the main entrance. I go to the Alpha checkpoint because the main entrance, you have to run through this whole like long courtyard where if you just go to the Alpha checkpoint, yeah, you get that double loading screen.
Scanning.
But as soon as you exit, you know,
Detected.
the checkpoint's right here.
Location.
And
Guarded by
there's your
hostiles.
vendor, where the main entrance is way down there. And, well, I'm lazy. Work smarter, not harder. All right, here we go, DZ East.
Welcome, agent.
And we have a Carnage. This one, crit chance again. So I would pick up the other Carnage, just so you know. But here's one over here, DZ East, Perfect Sadist. Next up, we have a M700 with armor damage and reformation. You could easily just change the talent to Determined, and you'd be good to go. Now remember that Determined, you want a higher damage marksman rifle, and this one compared to that SVD I just showed you, this one has nearly 3 times the damage. So that's why you would want Determined on this one, and not so much that SVD. And finally, for the weapons, a tactical M249 with swap speed and fast hands. Going to the gear items, we have a rigger mask with crit hit damage, foundry holster with explosive resistance, 511 mask with hazard and explosive resistance, and finally, Heligard holster with crit damage and explosive resistance. Going to the mods, we have repair skills 15.6, chem launcher duration 4.3, hive health 7.8, pulse radius 8.8, and trap duration of 4.1. Now, must buys, things to look for from DZ East. No. Negative. Niet. Nothing. Negative. Or, what? I already said negative. I ran out. Damn it. Ugh. Made myself look bad. All right, here we go. The theater. Starting with the Surge. This is the named rifle with perfect spike, and this one with crit chance. Following that, we have a Super 90 with headshot and in sync. And finally, for the weapons, a Police MK17 with max headshot and perpetuation. Going to the gear items, we have an electric pair of gloves with crit damage and armor regeneration. And finally, China Light knee pads with repair skills and health. Going to the mods, we have Pulse Resistance 8.3, Seeker Mind Skill Haste 4.7, Shield Health 4.1, Firefly Speed 7.9, and Decoy Duration of 6.0. Now, must buys, things to look for from the theater. No, not really. All right, and let's move on to the Haven settlement. Now, for the remaining 2 vendors, you have to have Warlords of New York, just so you know. Now, that concludes our Washington, D.C. vendor reset.
Safe area
And
detected.
here we are at the Haven settlement, starting with Marco.
Agent.
Marco has a police T821 with health damage and perpetuation, followed by an SR1 with health damage and sadist, a UIC 15 with damage targets out of cover and determined, and finally a first wave PF 45 with headshot and spike. Going to the gear items, we have a Habsburg chest with hazard, crit damage, and reassigned, Lingmo gloves with health repair skills, and finally Wyvern holster with status and health. This holster's not bad. Change the health off for skill damage and go skill damage status. You're good to go. Moving on to the mods, we have crit chance 4.6, headshot 7.0, shield deflector damage 4.2, chem launcher damage 4.1, and finally decoy health of 6.0. Now, must buys, things to look for from Marco. Yeah, the Wyvern holster's not bad, but that's really about it. Okay.
Thanks for the trade.
The reason why you want to do the Wyvern with status and skill damage is because the 2 brand set bonuses are status and skill damage. All right, before we get to Roy Benitez, we got to pet the doggy. Oh, there's a cat back there. You see the cat back there? Laying on the printer. You see that? All right, make sure you pet the dog twice. All right, remember that first one is random, but the second one. Oh, and he rolled over. Oh, nice. Let's go. Let's go. All right. And finally, Roy Benitez.
What can I do?
Starting with the G36 Enhance with damage targets out of cover and flatline. Not bad. You can use the Link laser pointer on this and take full advantage of the amplified damage. This is a good pickup. Not bad. Roy Benitez. Following that, we have a Black Market M60 with accuracy and unhinged, a Thorn with magazine size and perfect brazen, and finally for the weapons, an X45 with health damage and fast hands. Going to the the different gear set items, or gear items, my bad. Oraldi chest piece with crit chance hazard and Vanguard, a Habsburg Guard pair of knee pads with health and explosive resistance, and finally, Badger Tough mask with skill haste and explosive resistance. Going to the mods, we have Headshot 7.4, Repair Skills 15.6, Drone Armor Repair 6.5, Chem Launcher +1 ammo, and finally, Trap Duration of 4.1. Now, must buys things to look for from Roy Benitez. This G36 is actually really well. I like it a lot. Damage targets out of cover, flatline, get that amplified damage. Good to go. Bada bing and bada boom. But yeah, that's it though. All right.
Glad we could help each other out.
That, my dear agents, will conclude your weekly vendor reset and must buys for today, May the 13th. I hope you enjoyed. If you found this helpful or informative in any way, shape, or form, please hit that thumbs up. Support the channel by subscribing and let me know what you think in the comments section below. And finally, shout out where you're from. It's cool to see where everyone is from. But again, I'm Kamikazevondoom. Take care of yourself. Enjoy the rest of your day. And I'll see you in the next one, all right? Peace out.